Well, sure. I would say that the corruption, of course, is extremely prevalent, but the difference between what I would argue and what you would argue is probably the fact that the corruption you're seeing now is, in fact, created by the system itself. It's simply a matter of time because the entire monetary system is based on differential advantage. See, maybe in the early days where you actually bartered for something else, there's less likely to be corruption. Now, insider trading, the general manipulation, planned obsolescence, this is a different world with strategies for profit that do not give a damn about humans at all. The human value is second to monetary gain rampantly. You can see this everywhere.
But how do we even get the public to recognize the Federal Reserve's private and is a fraud? Well, through great films like yours and the Money Masters that we have available, by the way, at Infowars.com, 3-hour film on the subject to really get deep into it.
Of course, that's why I have it in there. My point, though, is that you have to look at the psychological ramifications of the monetary system. You can't have the system. It's not going to work. The corruption you see, like, for example, Ed Griffin put out this extremely projected review of my film, and he states outright that the free enterprise system is great if it was allowed to work. Well, there's no such thing as the free enterprise system. It never existed. It's never going to exist. We have different stratifications. But when we see it partially existing or in its pure form, it does create the greatest amount of goods and services and homes and food and medicine for the citizenry. No, actually, resource management and technology creates these things along with human ingenuity.
Oh, really? Cuba's had resource management?
Cuba, is that what you said?
Yeah, Cuba's gone more of any Soviet or communist state.
They still have money. They still have the same type of labor system the rest of the world has. This corruption is just the cartels and everything is a matter of time. Monopoly is a matter of time in this system. This is age-old. It's been talked about forever and ever. People don't think about it much anymore, but it's just a matter of time before what I refer to as the world government is world monopoly. You're going to have things. I mean, Walmart is a natural culmination. So people that think Walmart is some kind of, infringing thing that goes into a small town and hurts all the locals.
No, it's the more extreme expression of the parasite. Well, but see, it's not free market. It's using slave goods in select government deals to come in and displace the free market. And so the public became decadent and corrupt and wanted the cheap goods, so they bought into the slavery. So really, Walmart is slavery.
Sure. Well,
just like prisons are slavery.
All labor systems are slavery. Just because how many American corporations you think are free market? How many of them outsource to other?
They're not slavery, and people get shares in it, and people get stock. If through the brand name, it's known that it can be trusted. We had the U.S. government and the Chinese government 30 years ago make a deal to selectively allow them to have select cadres of corporations make goods, sell poisonous food, do all of it, and the public was brainwashed to basically accept it. But I mean, other experiences, the mind within, the soul. You don't believe we have a soul?
Soul based on a traditional definition.
But I mean, how do you know there isn't more? How do you know?
You can't. If you find a whole group of people dancing around a tree, they call it a boo-boo tree, and they sit there and say that this tree has all the power that controls everything. I can't disprove that. I can't disprove it. However, I hold it as extremely improbable.
I'm saying it's a human idea that is central to who we are, and that religion, alchemy, is what developed the sciences, and it's humans knowing there's more, humans pushing the envelope, reaching out into other dimensions.
It's
and then it manifests through ridiculous boo-boo trees, But I mean, just to disdainfully, I mean, there's all sorts of good things that come out of religion. Slavery, you could argue, transatlantic, was started by people misinterpreting the Bible, but then it was people interpreting the Bible who then got slavery banned.
Yes, so what? I'm talking about religion as an institution. This is an arbitrary institution. It's pushed upon you. I guarantee you, I bet you $1 million your parents were Christian. This is an environmental distinction. If you were born, again, you say religion's Christ and everything is very important to you, well, guess what? If you're born in the Middle East, you'd have a totally different value system, probably have no relationship to Christ
whatsoever. The Middle East is about 25% Christian, actually. But.
Well, you know what I'm saying. If you were born in an Arabic family, dominant religion of the area, This is the reality. We are.
But let me say this: that's actually in a way, it's a healthy firewall because there's new ideas, which are normally old as well, nothing under the sun, repackaged, which are damaging to the family. I think the Arabs saying we hate your television and your corruptness and your destruction, and obviously they suppress women in their own way and men as well. But we don't want to turn our girls into little whores. We don't want to use your drugs. We see your TV and we call that the great Satan. I mean, in a way, that has allowed them to keep themselves from being dominated by the West. These cultural things we have also have a defensive measure. I'm not saying it's overall positive. I'm saying it has that element. It's there in development.
I totally agree. I happen to personally believe in many of the things that the Christ character has stated. But you know what? I mean, what kind of competition did Christ have? Do you think Christ had guns if he had the option? I mean,
sell your clothes by a sword.
Yeah, exactly. But still, if you really look at his teaching, this is a hybrid character. So there's numerous nuances that are going on here that are in dichotomy. But what I'm talking about...
Are you saying he didn't even exist, even though the Roman historians and the Jewish historians... You're saying
there are many more Roman historians that have no record of him than there are that say he actually exists. There's maybe 4, and they have one line.
No, there weren't even...
I'm not going to go into this debate. I've already gone through this 1,000 times. It's on the website.
Well, you did change some stuff in your first edition of your first one. I mean, you did get a few of those gods and things wrong. I mean, you're not infallible either.
Of course not. I never said I was. I do my research as best as I can, and I present what I learn, and this is how we grow as a society. And religion itself rejects this type of education.
Well, here's the deal. Christians see this New World Order system attacking their religion. And let me tell you, whether you believe it or not, the New World Order, by and large, are Satanists. I mean, they worship death and destruction and me, which is the Madison Avenue God. I mean, certainly you're not ignorant. You know that there is an occult empire.
I'm well aware of it, but I don't recognize it was any type of interest because it's no different than anything else. Of course, you're going to have these divisionary aspects. I know about the Bohemian Grove. I'm very familiar with all of this. I know about the occult orders. They've existed for a long time. They're just a bunch of little clubs jockeying for their own ideological and personal power, age-old type of thing. But they are all a product of their conditioning. I'm going to keep reiterating this, and I want everybody out there to go to the ZenusProject.com, to go to the ZeitgeistMovement.com, and to think about these ideas and to realize that out of all the things we've talked about, Alex and I, the most important is to realize why people behave the way they do. And I argue that it is not genetics, it is behaviorism based on conditioning. And that is the most important element.
Well, I think that's definitely half of it. We're going to go to break here. Let's go ahead and start playing clip number 3.
War, poverty, corruption, hunger, misery, human suffering will not change in a monetary system. That is, there'll be very little significant change. It's going to take the redesign of our culture, our values, and it has to be related to the carrying capacity of the earth, not some human opinion or some politician.
All right, stop there. We'll play the rest after the break. Let me ask you this question. Who does the redesign and who decides the carrying capacity of the earth? Because the New World Order is going to use a false environmental carrying capacity to tax breathing, everything. I mean, you're talking hardcore tyranny.
Well, I'm not interested in the New World Order. They have no position in this type of structure. You can always say there's going to be people that try to mess things up. As I said before, the carrying capacity of the earth is just that, the carrying capacity of the earth.
Oh, really? How do you assess that? How do you assess that?
You look at everything that the planet has, you look at the systems that are in operation, just like you would a plot of land to figure out what's capable.
Do you believe in global warming? Do you believe global warming's man-made and bad?
I have no opinion on global warming. I've never seen evidence definitively on either side. But I know
total crap.
They use it for their own advantage, and I don't appreciate that. So the UN, it's a big joke with these guys. So that's irrelevant to this conversation, though. What I'm talking about is to realize the multiplicity of the things.
No, I understand it. The New World Order knows we can have that, and they're setting up a world. They say it. They're setting up a world tyranny to block us from developing that.
I'm not talking about fighting the New World Order. I'm talking about true...
Are you saying that they don't know? Because over and over again in the film, it's said that they don't understand, they don't know. No, they do know that this is possible, and their New World Order will take on many of the things you're saying, but only to get their dominance in to block things that empower the individual and the community.
Well, fine, but nevertheless, their tool is money. If you want to see the New World Order stopped, you got to get rid of money. They're not going to have anything else at that point. There's such a small elite, they can't even compare to the power of a group identification with the new social system. They have nothing. The next thing that we have to go after are the military and the police and get them converted, because without them, the New World Order can't do anything.
And then the film goes on, they go and round up all the evil capitalists. But you're saying that's not what you're saying.
Well, obviously not, Alex. That has no relevance to anything that I've said, and if you look at the research that we've done, that the Venus Project is about, there's no relevance to that whatsoever. There's absolutely no opposition to anything. There is a train of thought that is given in education to people, and they can take it or leave it. And I'm of the mind, I think once people recognize this direction, the New World Order, the elitists, the globalists will not only not have a chance, they will falter and join.
Peter Joseph, fire out your websites again.
There's zeitgeistmovie.com. That's the central site for Zeitgeist Project. There's the zeitgeistmovement.com, which we have about 30,000 people joining in about 4 days, which has been very progressive.
And you're going to have the Z movement, too, Z-Day.
Absolutely. And then there's the Venus Project.
The Z-Force is here. Ah! We are here to save you. We are here. We are here to free you. We are here to re-educate you. No, we'll see what happens with it. Hey, I know you mean well, and you're a great guy. We appreciate you coming on, Peter. Please don't come. Please don't come get me on Z-Day. Please, please, no, not that, not re-education, not that. No. Hey, take care, bro.
All right, man. Take care.
We'll see you. They will be re-educated. Folks, see Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement. There already is a scientific system. It's a scientific dictatorship. Retransmission starts right now. One place, Infowars.com with power-packed info. Take care.